Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly Ascension Angel Messages for November 3rd through the 9th, 2025. So, as we begin, let us start by just setting an intention for this reading. So just allow yourself to relax, take a deep breath, and they write the word safe and they show me a tree in the middle of a forest, and there is a clearing around the tree, almost as if the tree is in a circular setting, if that makes sense, around the ground, but around it. So just take yourself to a place that is deeply hidden within a forest where you feel completely and totally safe, totally alert and alive, aware, even better. And the grass that surrounds this tree is the most beautiful shade of green. Vibrant and healing. And the tall tree in front of you is wide and tall, and the bark on the tree is very ancient. And it feels very peaceful. And the surrounding forest is as quiet as a hush. And a light breeze fans the leaves of the trees around you, as if it is alive with your own energy and breath. So that as you breathe, feel your breath aligning with the wind blowing through the leaves of the trees. And let go of all logic or any mental chatter. And connect in with your I am presence and the form of light and light codes and information that you receive. And know that as you are surrounded by trees, and in particular the tree that you are facing, that you're immediately anchored and connected into the earth. And so our intention for this week is to be deeply anchored in the wisdom of the earth and the peace of your I am presence. And know know that all is well and that you are safe. So I'd like to take a moment to just welcome everyone to this weekly series and to thank everyone who has been with us for many years, and for any of you who are just joining us today for the first time, or you've recently joined our community, thank you and also welcome to you. Take a moment, if you haven't done so already, to subscribe and to select the all notification bell. Of course, like and to leave your comments. If you haven't done so already, you can go to my website. If you're looking for an angel reading, theangelschool.com/services. That link is in the description area beneath this video. And if you'd like to get a reading with me, just know that I'm available on Saturdays during the school year after 2 p.m. To about 6. And if there are any weekdays, that would have to be worked out, but it could be possible, say around 5 o'clock until 6:30. If you'd like to support my channel with a donation, you can use my PayPal me link for Angelic Wisdom LLC. If you haven't seen the monthly angel readings, when this video goes out, that monthly video for November should be posted. So make sure that you check out the monthly Ascension Angel Messages for November, and that'll be the first link that you will see. And if you haven't had an opportunity to go to my healer, mentor, teacher, Kim Sears YouTube channel, where she's offering weekly free healings, group healings. So check it out. It's been such a great support to me, and I think there's just so much going on right now energetically that we all need that. So her link is also in the description area as well. So let's now just tune in to the energies for this week, for November 3rd through the 9th. So when I see the word gay, it's my symbol for that there's something we need to come out about, right? And it can be anything. We all kind of like have a closet that we hide in around certain areas of our lives. Maybe it's some of us don't like to be in the spotlight, or like to feel uncomfortable with speaking, or we're just hiding. We're afraid to put ourselves out there romantically, as they write in word love in front of me. And I don't know why they're writing the word easy, but there's a sense of, they understand it's not easy. They write to express yourself, to be yourself. And they want you to know, well, it's almost as, I feel like I'm hearing, everyone is not for everyone. And that's just something that's not negative. It's just truth. It's reality. And they tell us this because most of us are trying to work to please everyone, or we're trying to get bring everyone together. And that's very interesting because there's a feeling that we're afraid of leaving others behind, or we don't want to be left behind. And whatever that's coming, wherever that's coming from, just know that that's not something that you have to work for or that you need to worry about. We don't need to be concerned, although it's going to sound very selfish and heartless, but we don't have to be concerned about everyone else in terms of, are they going to make it? Are they going to get on the right path? Are they going to appreciate what I'm trying to do, or, appreciate the things that you like or want them to appreciate? We have to be okay with knowing that everybody is on their individual path, that groups are on group paths, right? And there's a collective path. And perhaps the concept of unity is not that we'll all be like on the same page of one accord, but that we can understand. And that's what maybe compassion is. It's just understanding. Doesn't mean you agree. Doesn't mean that you have to see someone else's point of view and then adopt it. But being able to see their point of view is like understanding. It's compassion. And when people experience your compassion, they feel at peace. Doesn't mean they're going to change, but at least the peace comes in that no one feels the need to attack another person for being different or not being who they want them to be. And maybe we stop, holding on to each other, trying to get everybody else to be like what we think is right. They just wrote the word disrespectful as I was saying the word right. And it's, maybe we all have this sense of, judgment about, oh, that's so disrespectful. And I know we all do it. We're so caught up in what, the right way to do something, and we call that respect. And the wrong way to do something, and we call that disrespectful, right? But again, maybe it's because we're expecting too much from everyone. And where is all of that really coming from? Because is it really about them, or is it really about us and what we believe, and the pressures that we put on ourselves because of the expectations that others had of us when they viewed us through their judgment? And so maybe we're just all perpetuating this endless judgment that is based on some idea that unity and peace and love, and it looks a certain way. And one idea is that it all is the same, right? That we all are going to be thinking the same thing, agreeing to everything. And I don't think that's the world that none of us wants to live in, or that any of us wants to live in. And just take a moment to think about that. I know a lot of us know it in theory, But quite often, we spend a lot of our time, self included, arguing for um, all the things that we think that are just not right and that need to be a certain way. And it brings us no peace as we try to bring it about, as we try to corral everyone into our side of the pen, or whatever you want to say. But it's a lot of work. And should we not put any effort into a path that we deem right or righteous or worthy or noble? No, we should follow our hearts. We should follow the path that we believe in. But that means that you're going to have to lovingly, compassionately leave others to their own. And at first, this is not going to make sense and it seems chaotic, but eventually, when the compassion prevails, when we understand one another. Or at first, it might be that we begin to try to understand one another. And then we start to get parts of what we are about and what we're trying to do. So we have that full compassionate view. And when we no longer need to have everybody else to accept us, and no, we don't need to accept them. And I keep thinking about, when we feel that others have betrayed us or that we can't trust other people. And, I feel that is about us. We can't trust ourselves. So we're looking for other people to trust. And because we don't often, we betray ourselves, right? We betray who we are by trying to be someone else. And so then that betrayal of others really becomes about that. But it's just a projection so that we don't have to really notice how we've really not respected ourselves. So respect and disrespect. Respect is sort of the same thing. There are many times that we make all kinds of choices, and not all of our choices are respectful to our truth. But if we were really turning the lens inwardly, not in a judgmental way or accusatory way, but we just turn into the lens to just notice more about the kind of choices that we're contemplating, and being able to live with the choices that show respect, that honor who we are and our truth and our values, our worth, really, more than our values, but our worth. We would begin, it's going to be a struggle, but then it'll become, once we make those decisions, we'll find that a peace settles and roots itself in the heart of our being that allows us to forget needing to go through all these other channels outside of ourselves just to get to being comfortable with who we are. We'll forget the need to do that. And that kind of peace brings about a whole new collective of, a whole new reality, and how we as a collective interact with one another, how we as a collective now respect. We're not respecting each other ultimately because we all agree, but we respect each other because we see this worth, this, walking in our truth. And it's going to be so powerful that it's humbling. And that this humility that comes from a deep respect, an awe of what it took for you to be who you are being. It's like we'll recognize that light, that purity of light in each other. And through that, it's like we'll be able to govern ourselves even better, because we'll all be extraordinary examples of truth, of being authentic, that somehow, if there are components of us that we need to shift, and we will always need that, right? That we'll be able to learn that through the peace of your own process of growth. So this is it. It's like the world that we want to corral into being who we want it to be right now, to make sense, so we can stop, you know, stop feeling that all of this stuff, right? So we can all stop suffering. Can't happen in a way that we think it should happen. It has to happen by first being that example of the qualities that you admire, by simply doing the work in your awareness of yourself in the moment of the choices that you're making, and really making them solely and purely based on I am. And working through the uncomfortableness of that process, that's going to take time until it becomes so deeply seated within your soul that it's natural to be you. And now you know trust, you have trust. So now you don't seek it. And it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't do what you expect them to do, because you now know that the only trust you need to know is the relationship that you are developing with yourself in terms of being true to yourself, following your path, emboldening your connection with the divine that's flowing with you and speaking and guiding you. That trust, that relationship. then you can have peace likewise in the same way. You'll feel secure, but in the same manner. You'll feel respected in the same manner. It's the relationship that you are nurturing with yourself and with the divine that becomes your altar of peace, your altar of security, your altar of respect, your altar of trust. All right, let's take a look at the archangel that we're working with for this week. And it's Archangel Lavender. It's interesting. The first sentence says, prepare for soul healing. Forgive and release everyone. And this is probably a very powerful lesson that they just gave us on the path to doing that, to really achieving soul healing. We have to forgive, but more importantly, we have to release everyone. We have to release everyone that we've ever held responsible for the choices that we've made. And it is a choice to see people as the problem rather than a solution. And you say, well, gosh, that person did this to me and that's really horrible. How is that a solution? When you look back, you'll understand how every obstacle on your path caused you to have to explore other paths and choices. They taught you how to bring more respect into your life, meaning how to make a decision that respected what was right for you instead of what was being presented. It's never been about what other people do right or wrong. It's about what you get out of that challenging moment, what you discover is best for you, or who you discover yourself to be because of those circumstances. And so, in this way, you can just bless everyone who comes into your life, no matter how they come into your life and for what reason or purpose they served, knowing that it served you in some way, and probably many ways. Just tune in to Archangel Lavender, and she can really help. So she works with your soul star chakra, which is above your crown chakra, one of the three uh, chakras above the crown chakra. And when we let go and when we call upon her, she is able to heal completely in all directions of time whatever you're ready to release. And you might say, well, I'm ready to release everything. No, we're not. And it's not because you're not doing the right things. Because remember, everything is serving you. So the things that you're not ready to release is because they're still serving a purpose in your evolution, in your growth, in your spiritual growth. So be patient with your soul healing process. Be patient with your physical healing process. any healing process on any level, we need to be patient with them. And you may have multiple ones that are sort of happening at the same time, but all working together for your ultimate healing. So you might say, well, hey, I don't need anything. I just want to be free of this pain. I just want to be free of that. Know that this is when your soul and you are strengthened. You're made stronger. And when, this is where we've seen many examples of this, for people who are abled in different ways than the majority of us, right? But those people who all of a sudden become suddenly disabled by some kind of illness, their other senses or their other attributes or aspects of that soul is strengthened and brought forward. And sometimes it's that needs to thrive and exist and be. And the circumstances that come with it are serving not only your life, but many other lives. This is why it's so important to talk to your body and really ask your body if what you're wanting physically, if it's physical healing, if what you're wanting is what is in the best and highest good for everyone. It kind of feels weird because, like, well, this is my body. You serve me first. I want this. But if we just get in the habit of always asking, is what I want in the best and highest good for everyone, then you'll be more at peace with what is unfolding and the process of your healing. All right, so let's take a look at the first card. The cards were laid down from right to left. So it's that turning the mirror, turning and looking inward, right? And looking in the mirror of ourselves. We've had this card before too. The Six of Swords. So it really gives us a sense that we're on a journey. One, right? We're on a journey departing from one circumstance or situation and moving and transitioning towards another. But are you looking back mostly? Or are you really looking forward, as in looking forward towards something? And it's really important for us to, and our choice, right? So let's say you're asking for something, you're asking for healing, and you're in a healing process, but you're looking back more than you're looking forward. You're looking back in the sense that you're looking back and reaching back into the pain, reaching back into your disgruntlement about the initial situation, instead of looking back in the sense of, I'm seeing the progress that I've made from this point to now, and all that I've come to realize that this is where it might be leading from this point to this point down the line or in the future. So just know that despite of our tendency to just look back, as in reaching back, you're always moving forward. And it's about the mental, since the sword's about the mind, it's your perspective. Be more compassionate, more patient, respect your process. So reach in and see just how much you are really respecting the process that needs to unfold. Are you reacting or are you responding to this? Find better ways to respond instead of reacting the pain. And it's sort of like you're digging back into it, and it feels like you're stuck. But you're really not. You're just moving in a different way forward. And for some, that could be you just keep feeling and sort of reenacting more circumstances that are similar to the one you originally had, so that you can get the opportunity, because that's what every challenge presents, to respond differently, so that that can be that turning point. And that's how you're moving forward, just in a different way than what you deserve and what you're expecting. I feel like somebody really needs to hear that. So think about that. And we have another card, the Eight of Cups, which is another, sort of moving on traveler card, right? So we're on a journey, but how are we moving? How are we moving? Pay attention to how you're feeling. Your feelings might be, that you're feeling sort of emotionally drained, and you're moving forward, but you just don't have a lot of energy. You're possibly feeling as though like you have nothing left to give. And so moving in a different direction and moving in forward can really feel like that's going to be a bigger challenge. And so you might say, well, I might as well just stay with what I know. But with both of these cards coming like this, we need to move forward no matter how tiny the steps are. Really keep moving forward, but just don't put so much pressure on yourself. But make goals that are achievable. It's the first thing to do. Find achievable goals that they say give you a sense of peace and that help to calm the circumstances for yourself. If it's a health issue, just going to get taken care of, or it's taking your medicine, or going to your therapy appointments, or it might be they write express, so it could be something creative, and maybe it's, I don't know, just like it could be painting, and maybe it's difficult to do it, but just have the goal of you want this to be, but set a goal about what small portions you will do each day. The more that this thing becomes a reality, the more you'll start to feel successful and like a champion over whatever it is that's dragging you and holding you back. But the thing is, it might be hanging on to you, but you're still moving forward. And then eventually that thing will give up, whether it's a thing in your head, or a way that you feel. And here we have the Page of Swords. And I think it's so cute to have this hummingbird, right? just tasting the nectar. And somehow we need to focus on, in a positive way, on the things that cause us to thrive. I was just saying this to my students a few weeks ago, you know, about the difference between surviving and thriving. And one of the ways is, instead of making excuses, think of solutions instead. Because they often hand you a lot of excuses. Why don't do this didn't get done, this didn't get done. And reaching out to people, in your life that can help. Many of us are in that survival mode, where we're doing everything that we have to do. Everything on your to-do list is something you have to do. And that's survival. Versus taking those have tos, and finding something in it that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, so that you can phrase it as something you get to do. And that means opportunity. So if your list is, the foundation of your list, and the way your perspective about that list is opportunity, now you're thriving, because now every activity on that list is something you're passionate about, not something that exhausts you, but because you don't want to do it, therefore you're working against your own energy. And so you're in survival mode. So swords again, refresh your thought process. Start playing with words. Start playing with thoughts and ideas. Reframe, rephrase. And it's a powerful way to revisit circumstances by changing the story from a painful experience to a compassionate one, where you see compassionately the progress of your story evolving, even though there were many obstacles to deal with. All right. So the card I already pulled from the bottom of the deck is the Emperor card. And boy, what does this give us? This stability, right? And this ram, this sort of like not giving up, and really, I think, less emotional drama, and really sort of laying some, being more structured, more focused. And that's the word they were showing me earlier too, focus. So you need to be more focused. And sometimes making plans, we don't, maybe need to make better plans in terms of making plans, but more structure, right? More details. Have you skipped over too many details? So it's just a great idea, but it doesn't have a clear method that will allow you to sort of give you a sense of strong focus as you move through, very challenging moments in your life. And if you have a really good plan about how you're going to approach things, how you're going to execute things, do I need to make my goals smaller and achievable? Do I need to draft or engage more people to help me to execute this plan? Am I doing this am I putting too much work on myself? Should I divide the work up? Should I ask for more help? I mean, a real plan based on looking at like what's going on and why is this not working? And then asking yourself, what will make this work? So why is this not working is sort of like excuses, meaning that we'll probably tell people and ourselves like all the reasons why something's just not going to work out. And that means that you want to do something, but you're afraid. And so you are not focusing. You're stuck in survival mode, and you're not haven't turned it around to say, okay, this is what I need to do in order to accomplish all of this. Make that list, but make sure you're not the only one that's going to be responsible for that list, if it's possible. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings and patience with whatever process you're going through, and with all the encouragement from the angels to help you to find the courage to move through it. Have a beautiful week. God bless you.